know that feeling when your portfolio's in the red, and you are sitting there deciding whether to cut your losses or double down. That exact same psychological moment happens in relationships. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let me paint you a picture. You've been dating someone for 6 months. Things were electric at first, but lately, the texts are slower. The dates feel more routine. There's this friction, and you find yourself thinking, should I walk away? Or should I invest more energy into fixing this? That right there? That's the relationship equivalent of staring at a declining stock and asking yourself, do I sell at a loss? Or do I buy more shares? Here's what's wild in both cases. We do the same thing. We added to our position. In investing, we call it averaging down. We buy more shares at the lower price, bringing down our average cost. In relationships, we pour in more time, more understanding, more patience, more late-night conversations trying to work things out. The logic feels bulletproof. Yes, things aren't great right now, but the fundamentals are still solid. This is just a temporary dip. If I invest more now, when things turn around, I'll be so glad I held on. Sound familiar? But here's the thing that trips everyone up. Whether you're looking at a stock chart or looking across the dinner table, averaging down doesn't change the underlying trajectory. It only changes your cost basis, your emotional cost basis. When you buy more shares of a failing company, those new shares don't magically fix the company's broken business model. They just mean you've now got more skin in the game. And in relationships, when you invest more energy into someone who's fundamentally unavailable or incompatible, that extra effort doesn't change who they are. It just means you're now more committed to making it work. This is where it gets psychological. The more we invest money, time, emotion, the harder it becomes to walk away. Economists call this the sunk cost fallacy. We thought, I've already put in so much, I can't quit now. That would mean all that investment was wasted. In investing, this keeps people holding on to terrible stocks for years, watching them bleed values, unable to hit the sell button because selling would mean admitting they were wrong. In relationships, this keeps people in situations that stopped working long ago, staying because leaving would mean admitting those years were, what? A mistake? Wasted? But not all averaging down is foolish. Sometimes it's actually the smartest move you can make. If you're a value investor and a high-quality company temporarily drops because of market panic, not because the business is broken, then buying more shares at a discount is genius. You're getting more of something genuinely valuable at a better price. The same applies to relationships. If the core of the connection is solid, if you're both committed, if communication is still honest, if the issues are circumstantial rather than fundamental, then investing more can absolutely turn things around. Maybe one of you is going through a rough patch at work. Maybe there's external stress. Maybe you've both fallen into bad habits that can actually be changed. The key word there? Circumstantial versus fundamental. A circumstantial problem in investing: a great company's stock drops because the market's having a bad day. A fundamental problem: the company's business model is obsolete. A circumstantial problem in a relationship: you're both stressed and not making enough time for each other. A fundamental problem: you want completely different things from life and one person is expecting the other to fundamentally change who they are. You can work with circumstantial. Fundamental is, well, it's fighting gravity. And here's the really important part that separates the people who make this work from the people who just keep throwing good money after bad. The best investments aren't one-sided. When a stock's worth averaging down on, you are not the only one who sees it. The company itself is usually buying back shares. Other smart investors are stepping in. There's momentum building. It's not just you trying to prop something up single-handedly. Same with relationships. If you're investing more and your partner is also investing more, if they're showing up, putting in work, meeting you halfway, then you're both building something together. That's when averaging down actually works. Because you are not fighting the trend. You are participating in a recovery. But if you're the only one buying while everyone else is selling, if you're pouring everything you have into someone who's checked out, that's not averaging down. That's denial with extra steps. There's one more parallel that's uncomfortable but necessary, in both investing and relationships. Sometimes averaging down becomes less about the asset and more about our ego. We don't want to be wrong. We wanted to prove that our initial judgment was correct. So we keep investing, not because the situation has actually improved, but because walking away would mean admitting we misjudged things from the start. An investor holds a bad stock thinking the market just doesn't understand this company yet. I'm not wrong, everyone else is. A person stays in a declining relationship thinking we're not incompatible, we're just going through a rough patch. This isn't who we really are. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's not. The hard part is telling the difference. So how do you know? How do you know when to hold and when to fold? Whether we are talking about stocks or relationships, the answer is the same in both domains. Look at the fundamentals, not your feelings about your past investments. Is the company actually innovating and adapting? Or are you just hoping it will? Is your partner actually growing and changing with you? Or are you just hoping they will? Are the problems getting solved? Or are they just getting explained and rationalized? Is there evidence of actual improvement? Or just promises that things will be different? The moment you realize you're investing more to prove you weren't wrong about your initial investment, that's the moment you need to step back. Because at that point, you are not making decisions based on values. You are making decisions based on pride. The healthiest investors know when to cut their losses. They don't see it as failure, they see it as reallocation. Taking resources from something that isn't working and putting them towards something that will. The healthiest people in relationships know this too. Sometimes walking away isn't giving up. It's refusing to waste any more of your one precious life on something that's never going to give you a return. But when you find something real, whether it's a company or a connection, something with solid fundamentals that's just going through temporary turbulence, then averaging down isn't desperate. It's strategic. It's saying, I see the value here. I believe in what this could become, and I'm willing to back that belief with resources. The difference between wisdom and stubbornness often comes down to one question: are you investing in potential? Or are you investing in denial? Are you buying the dip? Or are you catching a falling knife? Only you can answer that. But at least for now, you know that the question is the same. Whether you are looking at your portfolio or looking at your relationships, both require the same thing: honest assessment, clear eyes, and the courage to act on what you actually see, not what you wished were true. Because in the end, the best investment you can make in markets or in love is knowing when to hold, knowing when to fold, and having the wisdom to tell the difference.